$6.40. That is what it costs to make the shirt you are looking at right now. Not the fabric, not the labor, not the button, the thread, the packaging, the shipping container, or the customs broker on the other side. All of it. $6.40. The shirt retails for $138. That is a 2,056% markup on a garment sewn by a worker making $3.20 a day. And the man who signed off on that number, the man whose name is on the annual report that disclosed that 59% gross margin, made $14.2 million last year. I want to show you something the brand's marketing team spent millions making sure you would never think to calculate. Because here's the thing, it was never about the shirt. Before this video is over, you will know 3 things. First, the exact dollar-by-dollar breakdown of what 5 men's fashion brands actually spend to make the products you're paying a premium for. Not approximations, not ranges. The specific landed cost, the markup percentage, and the name of the executive who approved it. Second, a corporate system that connects Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, Armani Exchange, Michael Kors, and DKNY under 2 parent companies, and why that means the choice between them was never really a choice at all. Third, 5 specific alternatives with exact prices and exact reasons that start from a different question entirely. There is also something I found in PVH Corporation's 2025 tariff response that no one is talking about. I'm saving it for the midpoint of this video, because once you hear it, the entire pricing structure clicks into place in a way that is genuinely difficult to forget. Stay with me. There was a version of this story that made sense. If you grew up in the 1990s, Tommy Hilfiger wasn't just a shirt. It was a specific thing, a specific feeling. Red, white, and blue. The logo visible but not desperate. It showed up on the right people at the right moment, and it signaled something real, that you understood the game without having to explain it. Donna Karan's DKNY was New York in a label. It was the city as an identity. The clothes carried an attitude, urban, precise, designed by someone who actually wore them in the streets she was designing for. Calvin Klein was something colder and more deliberate. It wasn't warmth, it was aspiration. The ads were shot like art. The product felt like it had been thought about. These brands built genuine equity, not from nothing, from real designers, real campaigns, real cultural moments that lodged themselves in memory and stayed there. And that equity that stored trust in your nervous system turned out to be the most valuable asset any of them owned. More valuable than the factories, more valuable than the fabric, because trust, unlike cotton, doesn't appear on a balance sheet, which means it can be quietly spent without anyone accounting for it. The shift didn't happen all at once, it rarely does. PVH Corporation, the conglomerate that now owns both Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein, acquired Tommy Hilfiger in 2010 for $3 billion. Calvin Klein had already been absorbed a decade earlier. The Donna Karan brand was sold to G3 Apparel Group in 2016 for $650 million. DKNY went with it, removed from the design atelier that had given it a reason to exist. Michael Kors, which acquired Versace and Jimmy Choo and rebranded as Capri Holdings, had already spent years expanding the logo into every outlet mall in America, a distribution strategy that does one specific thing to luxury positioning. It ends it. The founders either left or were absorbed. The design ateliers either closed or became marketing departments. The factories, the actual places where the shirts are made, stayed exactly where cost efficiency demanded they be. The logo remained, the trust remained, the price remained. Everything else changed. Now, let me show you what changed. In exact numbers. Let's start with Tommy Hilfiger, specifically the dress shirt currently retailing at $98 on their website. What it costs to make raw material, 140 grams per square meter polycotton blend, $2.20, factory labor, Bangladesh, $1.80, $6.40, where your $98 actually goes manufacturing, 40 cents you paid, $98. Markup on production, cost, 1,431%. That is a 1,431% markup on a product manufactured in Bangladesh in approximately 11 minutes of labor time. Now let's run the same receipt for Calvin Klein, owned by the same company, manufactured in some of the same factories, but priced at $158 for a comparable shirt. Calvin Klein dress shirt, cost receipt, total landed cost, you paid $158. Markup on production, cost 2,223%. 2 shirts, same parent company. PVH calls this a dual brand strategy. The rest of us call it charging twice for the same product. DKNY operates differently, not because the product is better, but because the licensing structure adds a layer that even PVH's model doesn't have. DKNY shirt, cost receipt raw material, total landed cost, $6. G3 apparel wholesale markup, 20%, cost 1,650%. You are paying $8.80 per shirt in royalty fees to a trademark holder, a fee for the right to use the name of a designer who left the brand years ago and has no involvement in what you are wearing. Michael Kors requires its own moment. Michael Kors belt, cost receipt, total landed, cost $2.60 you paid, $98. Markup, 3,669% product. Bonded leather fiber scraps pressed together with polyurethane and coated to mimic full-grain hide, begins delaminating at stress points within 2 to 4 years. The buckle fold goes first, then the edges. This is not a design flaw. A design flaw is accidental. This is a design choice. Now let me show you the name of the person who approved these numbers and what they made the same year. 2 companies, 5 brands, 1 playbook. PVH Corporation owns Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein. In fiscal year 2024, PVH reported a gross margin of 59%. That means for every dollar of revenue, 59 cents remained after the cost of goods. The cost of goods, the shirt, is the smallest number in that equation. Stefan Larsson, CEO of PVH Corporation, received total compensation of approximately $14.2 million in fiscal 2024. The garment worker in Bangladesh who sewed the shirt that funded that compensation made approximately $110 a month, $3.67 a day. In the same year, both numbers are public record. Capri Holdings, the parent company of Michael Kors, Versace, and Jimmy Choo, operates the same system under a different name. John Idle, CEO of Capri Holdings, received total compensation of approximately $13.8 million in fiscal 2024. Armani Exchange is not, as commonly believed, a Giorgio Armani operation. It is managed directly under Capri Holdings' licensing infrastructure, which means when you buy an Armani Exchange tee for $75, the Armani family receives a licensing royalty, and Capri Holdings captures the manufacturing margin on a $12 product. The playbook across both companies is identical. Acquire a brand with genuine cultural equity, reduce material inputs while maintaining price, shift manufacturing to the lowest cost compliant facilities, allocate marketing spend to protect nostalgia, report gross margin to shareholders. Repeat. Here's the pattern across the portfolio. Each acquisition follows the same arc. Premium paid for the brand, costs cut from the product, price held by the logo. And the person writing the press release about heritage and craftsmanship is the same person approving the cost cut that made those words untrue. The worker who made your Tommy Hilfiger shirt made $3.67 a day. Stefan Larsson made $14.2 million that same year. Both numbers are public record. Neither number appears in any Tommy Hilfiger advertisement. If you're still here, you already know this channel isn't about making you feel bad about what you buy. It's about giving you information they spent millions making sure you would never find. Subscribe and hit the bell, because next week we're inside the supplement industry, and what we found about the company behind 4 brands you trust makes this look like a warm-up. Here is what PVH Corporation said publicly when asked about the impact of the 2025 tariff increases on Bangladesh and Vietnam imports. They said they were evaluating pricing adjustments to protect margin, not to protect you, to protect margin. We have seen this exact pattern before. In 2018, when the first round of tariffs hit Chinese manufactured goods, PVH's retail prices increased an average of 8 to 12% across their mainline brands. The tariff was passed to you, the margin was kept by them. In 2021, supply chain disruptions caused input costs to spike 15 to 20% across the garment sector. The current 2025 tariff increases on Bangladesh and Vietnam, where PVH manufactures the majority of its volume, will translate directly into higher retail prices for Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein products. The landed cost will go up by an estimated 80 cents to $20 per shirt. The retail price will go up by $12 to $18. The gross margin will be protected. You'll pay more. They'll make more. This is not speculation, it's the pattern. None of what I've just shown you requires you to spend more money. In several cases, it requires you to spend less. Here are 5 specific alternatives, with exact prices, exact reasons, and exact quality differences. 1. Uniqlo Supima Cotton Tee, $19.90 versus Armani Exchange Basic Tee, $75. Uniqlo publishes the fiber content, the mill certification, and the country of origin on every product page. The Supima Cotton designation is a licensed certification from a US-based grower organization. It is verifiable, not decorative. The markup is approximately 3 to 4 times landed cost, versus Armani Exchange's 10 times. You are paying for cotton, not for the Armani name on a polyester viscose blend. 2. Charles Tyrwhitt dress shirt, $79.95 versus Tommy Hilfiger dress shirt, $98. Charles Tyrwhitt publishes thread count and fiber composition on every product listing. 100% cotton poplin, 2-ply where applicable. Their direct-to-consumer model removes the wholesale layer that represents roughly $15 to $25 of the Hilfiger price. The markup lands at approximately 2 to 3 times landed cost versus Hilfiger's 1,431%. Identical shirt category. Documented materials, half the mythology. 3. Gustin Japanese selvage shirt, $79 to $99 versus Calvin Klein dress shirt, $158. Gustin operates on a pre-order model. Production begins only when the campaign is fully funded, which eliminates warehousing cost and overproduction. Every campaign discloses the mill name and country of fabric origin. The selvage denim and Japanese shirting fabrics used are genuinely higher spec than anything in the Calvin Klein mainline. You are paying $79 for a shirt made from better material, sewn in the United States, with zero marketing budget built into the price. 4. Suit Supply half canvas blazer, $499 versus comparable department store. Half canvas blazer, $1,200 plus half canvas construction means the internal structure of the jacket is sewn, not glued, to the shell fabric. It drapes better. It molds to your body over time. It lasts decades instead of seasons. Suit Supply prints the construction type, half canvas or full canvas, on the product page before purchase. Department store brands at $1,200 plus routinely use fused, glued construction and do not disclose this. Suit Supply's direct-to-consumer model eliminates the retail licensing layer, keeping markup at approximately 2 to 3 times landed cost. You are getting more construction for less money because one layer of the margin extraction system has been removed. 5. Proper cloth custom shirt, $95 to $175 versus Calvin Klein dress shirt, $158. Proper cloth uses a fit algorithm that generates a made-to-measure pattern from your measurements, not a generic size. Single needle stitching is standard, producing cleaner seams with greater longevity than the mass-produced double needle method used in PVH's factories. Fabric selection lists thread count, country of origin, and weave type on every option. You are paying the same price, or less, for a shirt that was made specifically for your body, from verified materials, with a construction standard that the $158 Calvin Klein shirt does not come close to matching. None of these are perfect, but they all started from a different question: what's fair instead of what will they pay? Every brand on this list made a decision. They had the information, they had the resources, they had the factories, the designers, the material science, and the supply chains to make something genuinely worth what they were charging. They chose the margin, not because they had to, because the math told them they could, as long as you didn't ask what was inside. For decades, that math was right, and they counted on you to keep paying for it. You just proved them wrong. They didn't lower the quality because they ran out of money. They lowered it because they realized you were still buying the memory of what the brand used to be. And memories don't show up on a cost sheet. Next week, the supplement aisle, 4 brands you take every morning. One company behind all of them. What we found about the active ingredient concentrations isn't a quality story, it's a fraud story.